everyone, and welcome to issue number 14 of the monthly Dive into the Longbox. I'm Gabe here, joined by Ajax as usual. What's going on, buddy?
It's good to be back, Gabe.
If you guys missed our last issue that we had, we discussed, the bad girl period of comics. So definitely look back at that. We talked about people like Painkiller Jane, who I did see at the comic book shop today, Ajax. They were selling the full run of Painkiller Jane, and I almost bought it.
Really?
They also now have a box, a short box called Bad Girls, where it's just like complete runs of like a bunch of Bad Girl comics.
That's fun. I like that.
So I was like, oh shit, I gotta look through that too. And then in our one shot, we started covering Saga of a Doom Universe #1, and we're gonna be doing that again in our one shot episode after this. So look out for that. But today, Ajax, we got some fun topics to talk about. We're gonna be talking about some failed comic character designs, not just from the 90s, but what comic book resource. I love using comic book resource because sometimes you get articles that are like really in depth and like a lot of research and like legitimate articles, but then you get a lot of articles that are like nonsense, like casual articles, and I kind of love those because I love to look at it. Because again, I'm not in the industry. I make like indie comics, but I'm not in the industry. I'm a fan at heart, so I love looking at shit like that from other fans. And I consider those comic book resources like that other fans that are just have degrees in writing that maybe have some connections.
I think they can make interesting talking points.
Exactly. So we're going to be looking at one of their articles later on in the show. But before we get to that, of course, what's the poll list happening right now, Ajax? What's been going on? What have you been reading recently? If you've been doing any reading. I know with the new job and stuff, I'm not sure how it's been with timing with reading.
Some very light reading. Haven't really gotten a chance to like dive deep into anything. Of course, I read Saga of a Doom Universe issue 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I did manage to read the whole Gen 13 miniseries.
Oh, you did?
What kind of like kicked off Gen 13?
Yeah, I read issue 1 and then that was it.
Yeah, I read the whole miniseries and I liked it.
You know what I forgot I owned? I forgot I owned the half issue from Wizard, where it's like the only time they ever, besides the Deathmate book, where they wore those like weird costumes with like, where basically Freefall kind of looks like an X-Men character. She kind of looks like a Psylocke Jubilee mix with like the bandana.
That is something we'll have to cover in the future because that crossover has so many bad implications going forward.
Deathmate?
For the comic industry, like that book did a lot of like
Valiant
irreversible damage. Yeah.
And you want to know what's funny? I just completed the entire run of Deathmate books. I have them all. So that's kind of good timing.
How many books is it? Is it like 4 or 5? I don't remember.
There's I think 6 books from Deathmate. But Ajax, it's actually funny that you bring that up because we are going to be doing a card unboxing very, very soon. And you heard it here first, folks.
Yes.
Deathmate cards.
Yes.
Sealed shut, brand new. We're going to be doing these. I'm shooting for June to open these, Ajax. Or actually, no. Scratch that. May. We're going to shoot for May to open these because I'm dying to go through these, bro.
This is an Upper Deck set, too.
Yes, Upper Deck Deathmate cards. So, it's actually funny that came up. That's our next card unboxing. But yeah, I know for me, it's also been a little bit of light reading as well since I got hurt recently. Before that, I was doing a bunch of reading. It's a lot of like series that have just kind of been I've been reading, for about a year now. Like one of them I'm actually reading now is Superman, who is currently in issue number 13. That book wasn't even around or was starting around the time we started the show. But they're actually in the middle of a story now called House of Brainiac, which is fucking insane so far. Real quick, though, without spoiling stuff, the premise is Brainiac has shown up in the new Superman books. This is a crossover series between the Action Comics books, books like Green Lantern, books like Titans, and the Superman book, which is actually all books that I'm already collecting. So I don't have to go out of my way to like collect any extra books. The only extra book I have to buy is Action Comics, which I'm perfectly okay with getting for the next 2 or 3 months. Brainiac shows up, and he's basically kidnapped the entire super family. and he's done it with the help of the people from Lobo's planet. So now Superman is very angry that his family has been taken, and he's working with Lobo because that's his only hope of getting his family back, is working with Lobo. And Superman's brutal in this book to the point that even Lobo's like, bro, are you good? Like, I love this. This is awesome. Like, I've never seen you like this, but are you good? Like, it's kind of worrying that you're like this. And he's like, don't worry about me. Like, they fucked with my family, I'm gonna fuck with them, kind of thing. So I'm having a good time with it. It's like that perfect balance of like Superman being a badass, but not like straying away from like who Superman is. Like, it's for a reason. They literally kidnapped his family. Outside, the only person that they tried to kidnap that they didn't was Lois, but everyone else is gone, like taken. Superboy, his son, Supergirl, all of them, they're taken. So it's very, very good. Highly recommend. They just started, so it's only the first 2 issues out, and like the other tie-in of, you know, Green Arrow, it's very like loose in like Green Lantern. I haven't read Green Arrow yet. It just came out today at the time of recording. So but yeah, highly recommend House of Brainiac so far. I'm liking it better than I did Gang War. So hopefully, you know, in this one, it's Joshua Williamson again. So it's not gonna be. I
was gonna say, written by Joshua Williamson, who I've yet to read a comic of his, but everyone I've met is like, this guy's a really good writer.
I'll tell you
if
this:
you get a chance to read his stuff, you'll be impressed.
He has not written a comic that I have disliked.
I believe
still has
he's
not.
Doing all the G.I. Joe comics now.
He is. He's working on Duke. Yeah, he's working on all that stuff. While working continuously on Superman, he's working on Batman and Robin. Is he on Green Arrow? I think he's on Green Arrow as well. Like, he's working on a lot of books right now. He's very busy. But I listened to it.
He was on Deathstroke. I don't know if he still is, but he was.
I'm not sure if he still is. Let me see here. I do know that I listened to a podcast with him and like how his writing process works, and I see how he pumps out so much stuff. But to have so many ideas for so many different series constantly, I don't know how he does it. Like, he is super creative, like keeping all these stories unique. I don't know how the hell he does it. But he's also working on the Transformer books too, with
That's right, he is.
Yeah, is it Aftershock? Not Aftershock. It's that Image sub company, the one that's working on that put out Void Rivals and all that. I'm trying to blank.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's also working on it, and that's coming up soon. So that's #1. When does that come out? Energon Universe #1 comes out April, or maybe April. I don't know. May 2024. So he's busy, man. He's busy. So good for him. Good for him. Also, Kirkman's working with him on a lot of stuff too, so that helps, working with Robert Kirkman. But anything else you've been reading recently?
No, I only really read the Gen 13 miniseries, read Saga of a Doomed Universe. Besides that, I haven't really done a lot of reading because I'm still trying to get adjusted to my job, and it's been taking all of my energy.
I feel that.
But once I get used to it, yeah, I'm gonna definitely be back to reading as regularly as I can. I've also been playing a lot of Yakuza 0.
I see that.
That as well.
I see that. Every time I log on, you're always playing it.
Well, I'm trying to 100% the game, which I'm almost there. I'm at 98%.
Hey,
yeah,
not too bad. Yakuza needs a comic or a manga. They
that
probably
would
have
be
one.
sick, because the storytelling in the games is so good.
Well, the last things I've been reading here, we kind of talked about it a little bit before the show, but I've been on a Jim Mahfood kick, man. Been back into my cartoon books, finishing them up. So as I'm drawing those, I just get like excited with that style. So it's like, all right. And I went to the comic book shop. There was a bunch of Jim Mahfood books I like never heard of before. So one of the ones that they have is called One Page Filler Man. It used to be when he would like work on an anthology book, they would have him do like 1 to 2 page stories of this character.
Not related to an indie comic that I really like called Too Much Coffee Man.
Yeah, I love like the goofy names like that. But but what's funny about it is like the art style is great because it's drawn as if he drew it like in like a quick Sharpie, because that's how the actual other ones would look. Like he would work on it in like a day, and they would be like really like scratchy looking designs, but they came out really good. So it has like its own style. But what this is, it's like a collection of the short stories at the end. But before that, like right here, all the anthology stories. But all of this thickness before it's an original graphic novel story. Before that,
Right.
that he made just for this book. But there's some cool looking visuals in this, man, that he works on. That's super, super cool. So like I picked up that. I picked up a collection of his other short stories called Stupid Comics. I picked up.
Oh,
It's a collection of just all his like short stories and stuff. He loves drawing women with big butts and big boobs. He loves that. But
I
on
think we
top
can
of
all
that,
relate to that.
one of the most rare books, man. It goes for like I don't even know how much, but I got it for $20. I snagged it. You can't find digital scans online. You can't go on other websites to like find it or buy it. I found it on one site, and it's a book called "We Love Porn"
Oh my
by
god.
Jim Mopfood. It's just him just drawing stuff, if you know what I mean. That's what that is. It's a really, really fun book. I don't know if you can get your hands on it, but I did, and it's a lot of fun to read through.
You guys listening to this podcast won't see it because Gabe has his webcam,
Yeah.
but his we just had run in by his parents.
Yeah. And we're recording, and they cut through the recording. I like that my dad was quiet. He knew.
He's quiet, but he's posing for the camera, brother.
Anyways, the big thing I've been reading is a book you might have heard about, a little character by this name here, named Invincible.
That
completed-
is a thick boy.
I completed compendium number 1.
Holy fuck, that's like the size of a phone book.
I completed number 1, and by the way, you see this shelf here, these 2 giant books? Those are books
Yes.
2 and 3. This is actually one of the smallest ones. Yeah, this collects basically everything. It's all of season 1. If you're watching the show, it's all of season 1 and part of season, like half of season 2. With some other stuff sprinkled in there. But
What's the page count on that? Like over 600?
I don't think there's not a total page counter in here. Yeah, they didn't include a total page count. My guess is here. I could probably put it up right here in this. It'll probably tell me. I can't get over my mom cutting in. Can they hear us? That's staying in. I was gonna cut it out, but that's staying in.
No, that's gotta stay in. It's always chaotic at the Foster household.
Dude, it's crazy. There's always something going on here. So here, the compendium is the first one. So this one here is 1,024 pages.
Wow. So my prediction of over 600 was way off.
So it collects only issues 0 through 47. Each issue though is pretty long. Like you get a very good amount of story in each issue. The second compendium, which is the second batch of books, is 1,184 pages. So it's like an extra 160 pages. And then the third one is 1,104 pages. So this is actually the shortest one of all 3. And I'm telling you, man, this book probably one of my favorites. Like I always heard the hype about the Invincible books and like the show I love, and I always like, oh, the books are better. It actually is so fucking good. Because it's just the show literally just took the book and is like, we're gonna animate what's on the pages. That's literally all they did, and it's so perfect.
Do you find it difficult to read a book like that size?
So it's gonna
Like,
be
just
interesting.
handling it.
So it's gonna be interesting going into the second one, because issues 1 through 46, I read on my phone. I read digitally. 47, I read in the book, and it wasn't bad reading that last one, but I was also on, like, this here, so it was, like, reading it like this, so there wasn't a lot to, like, go through.
Right. A lot of yeah.
But, I mean, it's not too bad, because it opens up a good amount. So, like, when you open a page, the book opens up basically flat. So, there's not a lot. It's just very heavy. That's the biggest problem. So, you have to literally, like, put it on your lap to read. You can't, like, hold it.
That's why, me personally, I don't like buying like omnibuses and stuff like that because I find
Yeah.
them too big.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This is one that I would probably. I mean, I wanted it because I wanted the physical books, and getting the individual ones is either impossible
At this
or
point, it's
cheaper just to
impossible.
get this. Cheaper just to get
Yeah.
this, literally. Like I have a reprint of issue 1 from a free comic book day from before the show came out, and even that's going for a high price. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's a reprint of issue 1.
And it was going even
Crazy.
before the show came out.
Yeah,
Like
people
the
don't
prices
understand
were getting up there.
Yeah, these books are from like 2000, like I think 1. Like these.
Well, I think the book started in 2002. The first issue came out in 2002.
2003. We were both close.
Okay.
We were both close. 2003. And ended in 2018. So like what I have, it's 15 years of an ongoing series of characters that grow and change. There's no reboots. There's no changes. It's the same characters from this issue 0 to issue 144, but they've grown and adapted, which is like cool. That's a story I like. Kind of like what you get with Savage Dragon right now. It's like that's great, you know. I think eventually there is another one called Invincible Universe, a compendium that's only about 600 pages of like side stories of like the other characters, and I'm like, I think eventually I'll get that just to have it, you know.
What I appreciate about
comics.
Invincible though, which is something we don't really get in comic books these days, is a definitive ending.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I mean, obviously, it's hard
and
to do definitive endings with characters, right? Especially if they sell so well, because you're like, well, I just want to find loopholes to where I can just make stories forever.
Yeah, exactly.
But Robert Kirkman was smart, where he's like, no, like I want a definitive ending. I think 15 years was long enough.
Yeah. No, and it is, and I think from what I've heard, like it ended perfectly. So I'm excited to get into it. I mostly started reading these because I was watching season 1. And I was like, all right, I don't want to fucking wait until season 2 because it was like a 2-year wait period. So like in between that, I started like reading through the issues to like fill the void because I was like itchy for Invincible stuff. And I know how close it is to the show. So I was like, all right. And I also want to know what the fuck is going to be coming. And like, I want to know what they change and stuff because I always like that. Like when they do change things. So far though, I'm loving this, man. This is
we'll have to cover the issue where Super Patriot shows up.
It's cool. And what I love about that is that in the Super Patriot book, the same scene happens, but in the Super Patriot art. But it's like panel for panel the same thing, but it's from like his book's perspective, which I'm like, that's cool. So yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Invincible, highly recommend. So yeah, over the past month, I've been doing a lot of trade paperback readings, as you can see. So I've been trying to catch up on my collection of all these fucking books here that I got, trying to read through them all, while also buying a bunch of miniseries. Like I bought the miniseries Black and White from the 90s, the Image series. I don't know why, I just want to read it. Because it's like if it's like a short series like that, I'm gonna read it. Why not? The book literally went nowhere. The characters went nowhere. But I'm going to read it anyway. I think that's another Liefeld book, is it? Black and White. Very, very excited. So, a lot of new books coming out, too, that I'm excited for. Like all the new X-Men series, so I can't wait to talk about those.
New Witchblade.
New Witchblade coming out. It's actually, I meant to put that on my poll list today. I have to do that next week. I have to let my shop know. Please put that on my poll list. So when it comes in, I'll get issue 1. Yeah, man, I'm really excited for comics right now. A lot of people are really negative on comics now. It's funny, like, because we're wrestling fans. If you're a wrestling fan, it's like you either like this company or you like this one, and there's no in between. And like comics is like funny because it's not like you're either Team DC or Team Marvel. It's like you either think this book sucks or you think it doesn't. Like, there's no more war of the companies anymore.
Yeah, like I don't have a preference when it comes to company and comic books. I just want to read a good comic.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm the same way with wrestling. I was like, I just want to see good wrestling.
Same here. And I've kept that same mindset over like anything that I like. Yeah, I just found that funny because like a lot of like the discourse I see on social media is like, oh, this book sucks, and I'm like, yeah, but I try to stay away from a lot of that stuff if I know it sucks, or like a lot of the negativity, I stay away from it.
where I think you see most of that tribalism from Gabe is actually not even from the comics. It's from the comic book movies.
Oh, that is all over the place. And
I
I
think
have
you'll see
I
a
have
lot of people argue, well, Marvel has better movies. No,
and I'll
no, DC has better movies, and it's like, what the fuck?
and I'm sometimes in those arguments.
Sometimes,
Because
yeah.
it comes from a place of I want these to be good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to enjoy them, so I don't want them to suck.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, dude, I'm super stoked for Deadpool, because I'm like, this is what I've been wanting.
I am too.
Like,
I am
this
too.
is
It
what I've
looks
been
like,
wanting.
it looks really good.
So, yeah, no, it's I'm really, really excited for that. So,
And you know me, I am pumped for The Authority when that comes out.
oh
I am
god, yeah,
so
dude.
pumped
Oh
for that.
man, and what's been coming out for Superman? Super excited for Superman. Everyone just
cast
seems to
looks
be
really
having
good.
fun. The cast looks great. I think they casted everyone perfect. I mean, do we
I
really have
don't-
any questions
here-
with who's in charge? I feel like he
Here-
does really
here's the
well
thing.
when it comes to casting.
Here's the thing. I don't have to know who you are as an actor. If I look at you physically and I'm like, yep, like
Yeah.
he could play Clark, yep, she could play Lois. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine with me.
Even the Lex, I'm like, yeah, that's a good great casting for Lex. I mean, Lex's whole thing is that he's the opposite. He loathes Superman for everything
Yeah.
he is, because it's everything he's not. And everything he wants to be is Superman. And I look at who they casted, and I'm like, yeah, that looks like someone that is the complete opposite of Superman. So, and for people who don't know, it's a dude that played Beast in First Class, and the dude from Warm Bodies and all that, the British guy. But no, I'm really excited for what's to come with DC. Really excited.
Gunn, you got to do some sicko shit. You got to give us a Wildcats.
He has to. He was reading Wildcats. He tweeted out like, "Oh, reading Wildcats, whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, give us
And it was-
Wildcats."
you know what's funny? It was specifically the Wildcats run where Alan Moore wrote.
Yes.
Because I think he wrote like 5 issues of Wildcats.
Yeah. And it's funny because I know he loves his team book, so I'm like, we said it on the podcast before, but man, like, give us Gen 13. Even if it's an animated thing, give us another animated Gen 13 if you won't do live action. Give us something.
I still feel like Gen 13 has like the most potential.
Gen 13, we said it before, and I'll say it again, it ticks off all the boxes of a modern age comic movie. It's a mostly female, strong-led team. There's like one guy on the team. If you're doing the comics, it's half and half, kind of. Like an empowering team. And it's a great team book, and I think it could just be such a good movie. There's such unique characters, a lot of diversity. They'll cover all those grounds. Like,
Yeah.
they could do
And
it.
it was
man.
also a big enough comic book in the 90s where you can play into the nostalgia factor a little bit.
100%. 100%. You can use that to your benefit.
And Gunn loves, I feel like, playing up that nostalgia factor. Because he did with that a little bit with Guardians of the Galaxy, where, like,
Mhm.
Star-Lord always had those mixtapes of, like, 70s and 80s music.
Yeah.
So, like, if you made a Gen 13 movie, I feel like you would have to cover that in 90s music.
Yeah, dude. Oh,
You
man.
have to.
Put Chili Peppers in there.
Chili Peppers, fucking, Stone Temple Pilots. I mean, just
Nine Inch
everywhere,
Nails, throw
right?
all that in there.
Go everywhere. Pop, grunge, metal. Just go everywhere with it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, man, dude. What could be?
I
What
would.
could
I
be?
would love a live action Gen 13. Would love that.
So, but listen, all these comics and these TV shows, they adapt these comics the best they can to look like the comic characters. But Ajax, what happens when the comics look like trash? What happens when these characters' costumes look like garbage? So what we're going to do, Ajax, we're going to take a look here at Comic Book Resources' top 15 worst superhero costumes of all time. This is from 2017. It's a little outdated. There's probably been some bad ones since. But at the time, let's take a look at these costumes of what they rank on here. I think a lot of the stuff on this list we'll agree with, or not agree with, or we'll already know it's expected to be on
have
here.
some opinions on this for sure.
Yes, and we may have some differing opinions. I think a lot of the costumes, we need to put this out there, are subjective. People are gonna love certain costumes that look like trash. People are gonna hate costumes that look good. That's fine. I know people that hate the Jim Lee Cyclops design. They're crazy, but there's people out there. They're more a fan of the close cap Cyclops. not me. But there's to each their own. So there's gonna be some on here that I saw and I was like, I actually don't mind that one. So starting off here, they talk about some honorable mentions on here. This Kitty Pryde one on the left, where she kind of has like a Scarlet Witch type mask, but it like goes over her eyes. Where she wears like knee socks and rollerblades. Garbage. I think anyone will see that in garbage.
But that was kind of her deal in the beginning, where
Yeah.
she would make her own costumes.
Exactly. Yeah. They also include on this honorable mention the Sue Storm Fantastic Four one, where she dressed super revealing.
I'm
wouldn't
just
say
gonna say it. I like that costume. I just don't think it's a good Sue costume.
That's what I was saying.
It's not a good Sue costume, but it's a good costume.
You took the words right out my mouth. It's a great looking costume for the time period, and I think even now it just looks cool.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fit family Sue Storm. Like Fantastic Four, think of them as a legit family. Like they're a family friendly, camp of people.
Yeah.
So when you see Sue Storm with her milkers out and her cheeks clapping, you're like, wait a minute, what? Namor changed you. I think wasn't that the premise for the costume? Was like right after like the Namor thing, she was like, Reed doesn't pay attention to me, so I'm gonna get this new costume so he can pay attention to me. If I'm correct, I think that.
Lines, yeah. 90s Fantastic Four was a mess.
Yeah. I think Fantastic Four, even until like just recently, really got itself like in line again. They put Azrael's Batman. Okay, this costume, look-wise, did not suck. I personally don't think so. I think this suit
kind of like
looked
it.
awesome. I think it looked really cool. I actually Justine got me the action figure of this costume, and it's a great-looking toy. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I just don't think the execution on the character in the suit was good. I read through all of the run.
Nightfall.
I read through all of Nightfall. They, from the start, did not even give you a chance to like him. It ends with him being like, I'll take the mantle. I love Batman. And you're like, oh, this is going to be good. And the next issue is Robin being like, stop, Azrael. And he's bashing a dude's head in, like about to kill him for no fucking reason. He's like, get off of me, Boy Wonder. You suck. And he like flies away. And Robin's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, Robin's like the reader. He's like, what did I do? Why do you just hate everyone all of a sudden? Because every issue before that, Azrael's not a bad guy. He's literally training with Batman and Robin to take the mantle, and he's like a normal dude who's like really helpful. And then he just turns into an asshole.
Very Vince Russo writing.
Yeah, it's really, really
Just
weird.
Like, oh, we're just gonna throw you a curveball. You didn't expect it, huh?
And I don't know what this one is all the way on the right. They don't even put the name of it on here. Oh, Batman with a mecha armor. This is supposed to be like a mecha armor Batman. No, they're talking about Azrael. I don't know who this is on the right.
I'm not sure either.
They just included a dude. But they start the list here with number 15, Electric Blue Superman, which I guess you can also include the Red Superman, because it's the same costume in red and blue. Mm-hmm. Now, Ajax. At the time, this was a very controversial costume. This picture is actually the cover of a Wizard magazine from February of 96. February 97, when they announced it, because I know this because I have a little personal connection to the Superman, which may be why I am in the camp of really liking this costume. I like it because it looks cool. Obviously, the story of this Superman is not good. People have said that. I have not read it, but I've heard of how not good the story is. But Ajax, this Superman debuted March of 1997. You know what else debuted March of 1997? Me.
I was gonna say you.
So technically, this is my birthday, Superman. This coincides with me. Is this here?
So
how do you feel about Electric Blue Superman?
It's kind of the same deal with the Sue costume. I think it's a really cool costume. I think it's a bad Superman costume.
I agree.
It just doesn't fit him, but the costume itself is cool.
Yes, it's a great looking costume. It looks super cool, but it just doesn't scream Superman.
It doesn't. Maybe it would have worked maybe on Superboy. It doesn't work on Superman.
Man, 100%. 100%. So, of course, Red would go in that same camp. By the way, Todd McFarlane, I'll never forgive you. He just announced he's making an Electric Blue Superman figure. But the hard-to-find Chase variant is Red Superman. Why, Todd? Why? You need both. Why are you doing
Yeah,
this?
why would you make one a Chase?
I don't know. I hate him sometimes. But he's also making one of my favorite Aquaman costumes, the 90s Aquaman with the long blonde hair and the hook hand with like the shirtless look. That crazy looking Aquaman. He's making that into a figure.
Oh yeah, I remember that Aquaman.
That's my because that's my favorite Aquaman design. I don't own an Aquaman figure because I was waiting for that one. I'm like, yes, give me that. So he's making that. It's in the same series. But back on topic here. Number 14, Diana, Wonder Woman. They call this her hot pants era. So this is after Diana lost the mantle to Artemis, and she became Wonder Woman. Artemis in herself has a controversial costume because her Wonder Woman costume is literally just a thong for the book. And her book with Diana is literally just ass shots throughout the whole book, putting it lightly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Diana doesn't die, of course. You know, she just loses the mantle to Artemis, so she still wants to be a hero. We still got to put Aquaman. We still got to put Wonder Woman in a book. This is her new costume. It's basically her in like biker shorts and a leather jacket with like cool leather gloves. It's more of like a street gear Wonder Woman. I think this is another case of a cool design, but it loses its factor when you take away those colors, and it just doesn't look like Wonder Woman, you know?
Gabe, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but this is not a bad costume.
Yeah.
It's a bad Wonder Woman costume. Like, it just doesn't fit her. When you think
Absolutely.
Diana, when you think Wonder Woman, you think of something that's like regal, that's
Yes.
elegant.
Something that
You don't
that
really
is to
think
help
of
you.
Wonder Woman as like the leader of a bike gang.
Exactly,
You know,
yeah.
something like that.
This is very reminiscent of the Warlock era of Storm. Like, I feel like they would be a great tag team. You know, Storm with like the leather jacket and the mohawk. Put her with this Wonder Woman. That's a great duo
Yeah.
right there. That's a great duo.
But see, that Storm costume fits Storm.
Yeah, because that was her whole thing. She was with the Warlock, so it makes sense why she.
But it also
had
just
that.
fits her attitude, like as a character. This, I don't know, just doesn't fit Wonder Woman. But it's not a bad costume. Technically
Because I always
speaking,
saw
it's not
Wonder
a bad
Woman
costume.
as like a regal, majestic type woman. You know what I mean? Like
Same.
otherworldly, godly woman. So like seeing her like this is just like what? It's weird. Iron Man, the original gold armor. I mean, it's just a dude in a tin suit.
I can't say I'm a fan.
I'm not a fan of it. There's a lot better suits that came over time. If you had a lineup of Iron Man suits, I would also put this as one of the worst. But it's also the first, so it's basically the silver one in gold.
It's historical. It's
Yeah.
got a purpose. It's got a
There's
place in history.
There's something about this Iron Man though, like where I see him and he looks more like a supervillain. I don't know. I've always thought that with the original silver and gold armor, like this one, he just looked
Kind
like
of.
a bad guy. Like if you make a hero nowadays and this dude shows up to fight like Spider-Man, I'd be like, yeah, this guy's a bad guy.
You would just assume on sight, yeah.
Yeah, immediately. But I guess you could say that about other people like Cable and stuff. But but yeah, no, yeah, this is definitely not one of the best Iron Man ones. Number 12 is actually one that's a modern suit now, technically, which is the headmaster of Xavier's school, Magneto. This is from the big Uncanny X-Men 200, where he is put on trial. It is the current costume that you see every Wednesday on Disney Plus when you watch X-Men 97. Magneto in his little sleeveless attire.
I don't get this one. I don't think this is a bad costume.
Yeah, I also don't think it's a bad costume. This costume also only lasted about an issue in the books, and it's actually this issue. In the show, it's lasted a lot longer than in the books, but I like this costume. Like, I don't know, not a bad costume.
No, I think it was cool.
I would go on a limb and say this Rogue in the back looks way worse with her little white streaked mohawk.
I would certainly agree with that.
Yeah, the Headmaster Magneto costume, and I think that it shows like it looks really cool in animation style where he has like the long flowing hair, like he looks cool. I don't know. He doesn't look like a bad guy, which is the point.
You could make that argument that that costume probably looks better animated than it does like on paper.
Yeah, I would.
You could probably make that argument.
Yeah, definitely. Number 11. All right. This is one that I have gone on a whim to say what the fuck whenever I see it. It's also, again, I would also put it in that class of, if this was like an image character, this is basically Marvel being like, we're gonna make Thor imageized. Thor from the 90s definitely went through a change with his little crop top spandex suit and body straps and, you know, long flowing hair. This costume, though, is not Thor. I don't know. If you showed me this image and didn't tell me it was Thor, I would have thought this was like another Image one-off miniseries character. Equipped with the big head sock and shoulder pads. Like, it is just very... I look at this, I don't think it's not a good design. I think even if it was on an Image character, I don't think it would look... It's the crop top. It just ruins it. It looks weird.
It is the crop top, and I'm not a big fan of, like, the... What do you call those shoulder pads? I'm not sure what those are.
These, I don't know. I think some shoulder pad designs could work, like on Cable and stuff, where they have, like, more of, like, a military-like look. Even then, like...
Even then... form-fitting.
No, I was going to say that even then...
It looks like it's glued onto the crop top.
The shoulder pads era was great because they made no sense, but sometimes they were just like, yeah, it looks cool in some cases. I mean, I'm working on a book now of a 90s character that has shoulder pads, and dude, not only does he have shoulder pads, he has 2 different shoulder pads. Why? I don't know. Makes no sense.
I will say, what I love about this costume is the hair.
The hair is phenomenal. The Fabio hair.
Because I've always been a fan of, you know, long flowing capes and long flowing hair. It looks very dynamic.
Well, like, he checks off all the marks. We have long flowing hair, check. We have big muscles, check. We have random leg straps, check. We have shoulder pads, check. We have head sock, check. And I don't know if you see this here. We have chains, check. This is like that video of Liefeld and Todd where they're like, yeah, add chains on them, add some shoulder pads. Like, that's literally what this Thor is. It's like, what's Image doing? Overkill. We're gonna put it onto Thor. Yeah, literally. Yeah, who later became Overt Kill.
Yeah, Overt.
Yeah, this is what, and dude, this is what he wore in the DC versus Marvel stuff. So when you go in August, when you go to buy your new omnibuses of the amalgam stuff, this is the Thor you're gonna see. Oh. Like, this is the Thor of that time period of, like, cool looking Batman and, like, the all gray or, like, all black, you know, mullet Superman. You get this Thor. If it wasn't a crop top and it wasn't Thor, I think this would be, like, a cool, like, very forgettable Image character, you know?
If you lose the crop top, the shoulder pads, and the head sock, I think it can work.
Lose the shoulder pads, lose the straps, add the bolts, and make this not a crop top, and I think that would be cool. And give him the cape. Give him like a Spawn. Yeah, go all out, man. If you want to do 90, give him the Spawn cape that just goes everywhere. That would look cool to go with the hair, you know?
Yeah, I like that.
I would add the wings onto the head sock too, on the ears, the wings, so you know it's Thor.
Oh yeah,
I would add that.
When it comes to Thor, his redesign for Ultimate Marvel, like that costume they gave him, that's my favorite Thor look.
Yeah, with the beard.
Because that was his default costume in Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yep.
So that's a little nostalgic for me.
And that's the Thor that they used in the first Thor movie. Was that design with that shorter long hair with the beard?
Yep.
So that was kind of their. It still is technically like their blueprint, just that now he has short hair. Yeah. This is, I would say on this list, this is probably the first like bad one. But like with some adjustments, it could be better. Oh, also the big cock piece has to go too. The big metal diaper, that's got to go.
Yeah, come on, man, take that off. Let me see Thor's cock print. Come on.
That's what I'm here for.
Exactly, that's what I'm here for.
Number 10 on this list, Ghost Rider, Noble Kane costume. So this is one I saw, and I'm like, this isn't bad. Like, the red, I think that looks cool. It complements the fire. For people that don't know, this has, like, big, like, Road Warrior shoulder pads in yellow. with like red racing stripes on the top, and like a red in like yellow fire costume. It's all fire colors. I mean, this isn't bad. I don't know. It's not
I
like the
dig it.
cool. Yeah, it's not like the all black '80s biker one, but for like a '90s redesign, dude, trust me. If Ghost Rider looked like this in the 2024 book, I'm eating it up. I'm buying it. Like,
I
'cause-
dig it, and you have to think that they were probably trying to do something different because they had replaced the original Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze with
Yes.
Danny Ketch.
yes, who was then revealed to be.
So they're
Mobile.
trying to give Danny his own like Ghost Rider look.
Yeah. So I mean, again, not a bad one. Warbird. Okay, first of all, I don't know what regular Warbird looks like.
I can't say it's a character I'm super familiar
Is this a
with
Marvel?
either.
So, wait, it's Carol Danvers. Oh my
Oh,
god!
really?
So you tell me this is a redesign of fucking Miss Marvel? Okay, then yeah. This is not good. So yeah, this is after she got her power stolen by Rogue. She became Warbird. Yeah, I actually knowing that this is supposed to be Ms. Marvel, I don't like this anymore. Cuz I was like, "All right, this is like a generic military costume." But this costume's just so great.
It is.
Like I'm
yeah.
upset that this costume's not a canon costume in like the movies anymore.
Say, I think the original Miss Marvel suit with the yellow, like, what would you call it, like lightning stripe?
yeah,
I think that's one of the best costumes of all time. I really do.
it's iconic. It really
It
is. Man, no balls that they won't do that in fucking live action. I mean, I know they definitely won't, but it's just so cool, man.
I'm
Marvel's
so
scared
tired
to
of
show legs.
short-haired Captain Marvel.
They're scared to show
So tired
legs.
of that.
So yeah, now that I know that Warbird's supposed to be that, I don't like this anymore. I mean, again, it's not like a horrible design, but she looks like she's like, you know, like those people that go rollerblading and like wear like and like they fight each other. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
and like they got like the elbow pads and helmets. That's what she looks like she's going to, with the elbow pads and stuff. So, not a fan of that one.
It's a little generic, but like I don't
Yeah.
hate it. But
If
it's
this
a
was an
little
original
generic.
character, yeah, that
Yeah.
like I'd say if this was an original character and you put like a design on that white armor, why not? That could work.
It needs more color. It needs a little bit more color to it.
Yeah, I like that they kept her mask though. They kept the mask design. Also at this time in the book, she had a drinking problem, so it might explain why this costume looks how it does. Oh, 2 times on the list. Thor once again. Another 90s Thor design that looks not good. So this is a Thor one where he is just full skin out. Let me type in Thor God Pack, they're calling it. Here it is here. This one is just, I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to go for with this costume. The color scheme is cool, the blue and gold, but it's the body again. Why do they
It
love
is.
to show Thor skin on the body?
I think this is better than the previous costume.
Yeah, I like the. Oh man, see, this is the original. This is the other one, but yeah, it's just the body I don't like. I don't know. I know they're trying to like they're keeping this type of design where like it goes like that kind of, but I don't know. This needs to be covered. If this was like black or gold, that would look a lot cooler. You know, if it was like gold around it, like a full gold suit.
Oh yeah.
I think that would look a lot cooler, but this wrestling gimmick looking Thor, this like new repackage of Thor. I don't know how I feel about it. But I'm looking here, man. It looks like these God Pack members all kind of had weird looking costumes. Like, if you put him with this team, see, look, in the original costume, he sticks out. But if you have him in this with this team, he blends in. So I think there's
He
also
does.
there's context they need to include with this, because I'm looking at this God Pack team and it looks good with them, you know.
Mhm.
So I guess like if they're including that, there's a lot of costumes that don't really fit in. Like if that's the case, why is Bagman not on this list? Remember Spider-Man had the paper bag over his head on the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, I always felt like that was a joke costume, though. People
And
didn't really take that seriously.
I think like in with the context here, it doesn't look too bad. Like, see, it's like a different version of this.
Yeah.
That's what that's supposed to be. So it kind of has that. I mean, I think what the issue for me is the straight down line coming down the middle. I think if they kept that look of like that arching down kind of like a design in that other one. I don't have the picture of it anymore, but you know what I'm talking about, like it kind of like goes down like at an angle where it
Yeah.
still shows some skin, but it's not as much. I think it would like this. See how it kind of goes down at like an angle, like a V? I think
Mhm.
it would look a lot better.
It tapers. Yeah.
Yeah, it would look a lot better. But again, man, they love these shoulder pads. Gotta put the shoulder pads. But he's got the Spawn cape, though.
He does.
So, and the ears on the wings, so they're doing good.
I'll say it's close. It's close to being a good design.
It's very
It's
close, yeah.
close.
It's literally just the body. It's either make this
Yeah.
all gold around it or widen this line. Just like this one, just close the midriff. Look at the chain, man. They really did have a chain. Just close the midriff and it's fine. And it would work. Number 7. So this one, I saw this and I was like, this is Guy Gardner?
When he was Warrior.
Yeah. So this is one where he was completely repackaged as a whole different hero. They were trying to separate him from the Lanterns. So he
Yep.
was just an entirely different person from the Lanterns. And I don't know. I think this is a case of like it's more so why does he got all this shit on him, you know? I get you're trying to be different, but you could have just kept with this. Like, this is fine. Just keep his Guy Gardner look with like the jacket instead of going like we're gonna make him look like a Valiant Comics character, you know?
I kind of dig it actually. I'm a fan of it. I like Guy Gardner Warrior.
I would. I never read the books. Is there a reason why it's very like Native American esque? Like, is there a reason for that?
Like the
I've never
design
read...
of it? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
I don't know if it's like that's another thing. Like, is there context behind it?
Yeah.
Like, if there's like a reason why, I think I would like it more. But like, just like odds on. Plus, I think it's mostly because, one, I hate this Guy Gardner design, the original one, and I love like the later one, this one here. I love this later one so much, that I'm just like emotionally attached to it for some reason.
I like Guy Gardner in general. He's such a
Yeah.
hothead.
And it's even like when they cast Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, when they announced that, I was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, Nathan Fillion looks more like Hal Jordan than Guy Gardner. But then I thought, I was like, oh, he can play a great Guy Gardner, though. Like, he can play like asshole Guy Gardner so well. So I'm very excited for that.
Maybe once he gets the haircut.
If they
you
dye
know,
the hair,
it'll-
yeah.
Yeah, it'll come to life.
Yeah. So, I would definitely look into the Warrior series. It's just that I look at this and I'm like, if you told me this was Guy Gardner, no idea. Which I guess is the point also. Like, they were trying to make him a completely new person, and they did that. But it looks like he had a couple different designs as Warrior. He had about 3 different designs as Warrior. He had like this generic one with the leather jacket, the tattooed one, and then he had like an armored costume. So this is kind of cool. This like bow and arrow gun he had. That's pretty sick. Look, they included some boobies in the book. Good for them. The 90s was great. Wait, that's a gender bender Guy Gardner. The name of the issue is it's Warrior number 42, a gender bender in the blender. And Guy
Oh
Gardner
my
turns
God,
into a woman with big cans.
That reminds me when fucking we'll have to cover this one of these days. When Liefeld did a fucking event for Youngblood. I think it was the first event, like crossover type of deal for Youngblood. And the event was literally like, what if we just gender bent all the characters? That was the event. It was called Babe Watch.
Oh my god. What was it, Youngblood?
Youngblood, yeah. That was the event. They turned all the heroes into girls.
Damn, I found it. Yo, that's crazy. I mean, I would. No, but why? But I'm gonna be honest. Why does the team look even cooler like this? I would have,
girls,
dude.
yeah.
If this was the book, I would have bought this up even more. Like, a fully like woman Youngblood looks really cool. I'm just confused why they didn't turn the woman into men. That would have been even funnier. You
Oh
know?
yeah, so you completely gender bend them.
Yeah, I say do that. That'd be even funnier. But like, damn, she looks cool. She looks cooler, man. Female Supreme. Look at that. Babe Watch Supreme cover. Oh, man. That's crazy. They need to bring this gimmick back for books. Just do a book where they just gender bend everyone. That's awesome.
Gimmick is
dude.
right because Rob was just like, I think I'm gonna sell more comics if I just gender bend all my characters. You think perverts are gonna buy this?
And it probably did sell a bunch. It's such like an easy gimmick, but like, who did the cover for this? Let me see. Let me look it up here. Because the art looks really great. Does it show up on here if I search it? Youngblood Babe Watch. What if I just type in Babe Watch? Okay. Prophet had one too. The Babe Watch special. That Chuck Dixon wrote. Was it like a certain number with this Youngblood? It was just Youngblood number 3? I want to know who did this cover. I need to know. Youngblood was at Awesome Comics for a while? I didn't know that. Awesome Comics is what made the that Fighting American series.
But yeah, Awesome Comics is a lifeless company.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, I'll find this artist eventually. I'll locate them. I'll track them down and get a hold of who did that cover. Oh, is this it here? Oh, this is it here. I found it. The cover artist, Roger Cruz, did the cover. So, Roger Cruz, good art, man. He has a very Turner looking, it's like a mix of like Turner and like, first I thought it was Scott Campbell, J. Scott Campbell. That's what I thought it was at first, but it's not. Yeah, Roger Cruz, 95. Good shit. Good shit, Roger. It says an average rating of 50%. 3 of 6 people like it.
You think I can buy a copy for like $2 on eBay?
Oh, look at this review. The artwork in this comic is particularly bad, and it's hilariously out of date with its gender politics. It's worth a read if you want a good laugh. Sick. I need this now, Ajax. Thank you for letting me know about this. I need it now. Number 6 on this list, War Machine. So this is they were basically doing what they were doing with Guy Gardner. They wanted to do it with War Machine, where they wanted him to just look completely different from Iron Man. And I don't know. It's just there's a lot going
on. Can you
on.
hold the full reference picture of that?
Yeah,
suit?
let me see. War Machine. They keep calling him Crossing Era. So let's see. It's like an alien suit. I don't know. It's just there's a lot going on this.
There is a lot going on. It's
Yeah.
not as cool as I thought it would be.
No. I would even say it's a downgrade from the OG suit. Like, it's just so great.
Oh, a massive downgrade.
Yeah, this is he kind of looks like a bug. Like
It
if
does,
you saw
yeah.
this and you're like it's War Machine, I'd be like, "What?" Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this one. This is War Machine with a hat. Oh, he's wearing a helmet over his helmet. That's crazy. It's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this one. Yeah, I get like they want to distance him from Iron Man, but like I don't know. I feel like that was the cool part about War Machine. It was just like I don't know. I always thought War Machine had a cooler color scheme. Like I think the red and yellow is cool, but the silver and black is just so nice.
Oh, silver and black is War Machine, 100%.
Love playing as him in Marvel vs. Capcom. I went to him more than Iron Man. They had basically the same moveset, but I love using War Machine way more. I don't know. War Machine underrated. I think it needs more love. Give love to War Machine. And he was not given justice in the movies, so which is very unfortunate. But number 5 on this list, Hawkeye. Yeah, this is just not good. This yeah, it's just like I don't know. It's just Hawkeye with a dress. It's literally what this is. Especially when Hawkeye at this time already had a cool costume. I mean, he had like a dress kinda, with the classic costume. Hawkeye costume. But it looked cool, you know? It wasn't really a dress, it was like the little flowy thing. Like,
Hawkeye kind of looks like one of those extras from WrestleMania 10 with the togas. They're like carrying JR like around the arena.
He does. That's literally what this is.
Like
it's like an Egyptian fucking Hawkeye. Yeah, no, not too hot on this one. I think that one deserves to be at that place, rightfully so. By the way, if you guys listen to this, I attached the link. So, the links at I'll probably put another audio clip in the beginning, letting people know the links at the bottom, so you can look through it with us. By the way, looking at this cover, I'm like, man, this looks cool. But this Avengers cover, Avengers number 63. Look at this Captain America arm. He kind of looks like Mr. Fantastic.
He's
very stretchy.
Split.
Yeah. This is weird looking. I don't like this cover. So another crossing era costume is Hercules. This just looks like Hercules as a bodybuilder.
I don't know what's so bad about this.
Crossing era. Marvel. I forgot Hercules is an actual
specify.
thing. Yeah.
Probably specify.
It's just Hercules in a tank top and some knee pad boots and some cargo pants.
It's not particularly inspired, but I wouldn't say it's bad either.
No. I think it's another case of not a bad design, just not Hercules.
Sure, yeah.
He did get a cool flare card of this, though.
That is a nice card.
It's just a repaint of this, actually. They just painted over this art. Which kind of looks like Andy Kubert. I don't think it is, but kind of looks like it. Yeah, no, Hercules, I mean, this costume is another one. He's had a lot of different costumes. I think still the best one, though, is the one from the 2010s, this, like, military one. That's probably my favorite. Only second to, the OG, like, Hercules costume. So, no, this is probably my favorite one. But, yeah, the 90s redesign's not the greatest. It just looks like, I don't know, like a generic dude in a tank
worst
top.
of all time, I think that's a little, I don't know.
Yeah. There's a lot of these. I don't think they're worst of all time. There's a lot worse. Even for the characters, maybe, in some cases. Black Canary. I think this is more of like an of the time. Like, this is very 80s, which is when this costume came out. They call it the Flashdance one. I don't know. This is just, it looks like workout gear, for an 80s character. It's very of the time.
Someone really wanted to draw Black Canary as Olivia Newton-John. I think that's what it was.
Literally.
Just look at the face.
Yeah, no, it's spot on. And this is it's an interesting one. I think the only one on this list where it's acknowledged when a costume changes, because there's a cover where she's burning the costume for the obvious, more iconic costume that we know and love today.
Right.
Which is miles and miles, head and shoulders above this old costume. But I think, again, it's also of the time, like, I see why they designed this costume, you know what I mean? It looks like a chick in one of those workout videos from the 80s,
It's of the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad.
Yeah. I would say if we're looking at Black Canary as a character, this is probably her worst of all time. Only, I would also put, the controversial, I would also put behind this, or on par with it, the one from the recent movie that's supposed to be Black Canary. The Birds of Prey one. Which it doesn't look like Black Canary, her costume. So, if she dressed like this in that movie, that would have been awesome. I think that would have been great.
I'm not even sure I want to bother with that movie.
Yeah, I would put that on par with this Flashdance one. Number 2, Iron Man, but it's Iron Man with a nose. He has a nose and he has 3 repulsors on his chest. I think this is more just so it looks goofy, but I don't know how for the case of Thor as well, how do you have a worst costume of all time for the same character twice on the list, If it's the worst of all time, it must be the worst of the character, right?
Yeah, but it's definitely not the worst of the character. I would say the tin suit is way worse than this.
Way worse than this. I would have put these actually back to back on the list. You know, I would have put in this number 2 spot. I would have put the War Machine in this spot.
I'm not, to be honest, Gabe. I'm not so sure what's so like offensively bad about this suit.
I think it's just because he has a nose and it looks weird from what we know. You know, where he doesn't have a nose. That's probably my guess.
Fair enough. I don't think it's really that bad looking.
I don't think it is either. I mean, I look at this. If he didn't put nose armor, I wouldn't have known what the quote unquote issue is with this costume.
Honestly.
But number 1 is Wonder Man from West Coast Avengers. Yeah, I don't like this one.
No, me neither.
They call him the king of bad superhero costumes, but listen, I'm going to say this right here. Wonder Man, back in the day with the red jacket, I liked that. I think it was different. Could have been better, but I didn't hate it, you know? I don't hate this. The green one, I would say, is probably not good. This one, worse. Especially because this came third of the red pop collar with the turtleneck. You know, he kind of dresses like Christian Cage in AEW in 2024.
A little bit.
The jacket
Yeah,
and the
a little
turtleneck. This costume is, to this day, my favorite Wonder Man costume. The classic.
The best one.
Yeah,
the best costume he's ever had, and probably one of the best costumes of all time.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite Marvel character designs besides like Gambit. I just think it's a very heroic look, and when his powers like ignited with the purple, it looks so cool. Trying to find like one with the actual like I own this book where this is the panel on it, and it looks so cool. The sunglasses are a cool touch. I always think that's cool on a superhero. Even this 90s one when he was with Beast, this one is just like a variation of the Wonder Man one people think of in their head. It's just a variation on it that still looks cool.
Do you think DC kicks himself every day? Like, fuck! I can't believe we didn't trademark Wonder Man. What happened?
I know, right?
And then Marvel goes and makes like, you know, maybe somewhere in their top 50 like most iconic characters, like Wonder Man's probably there.
Yeah. But it's funny, like nowadays, like there's not a lot of Wonder Man stuff, which upsets me.
But when he was first introduced, I mean,
he was a big deal.
He got a pretty good push.
Yeah. I mean, this man came back from death in the books.
He did, yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the green and red. I'm happy that did away. Looking back, hindsight, you know, obviously I wasn't alive at this time, but again, I think this is more so of the time. You know, they had certain color palettes they could use, and this is what they came up with, which is fine. They actually sold a figure recently of this turtleneck one, and I really want it. Like, I really want. I have this Wonder Man, like this type, you know, this costume Wonder Man figure. But this one's interesting to me, though. It's Wonder Man. It's kind of like a mix. It's the current Wonder Man costume we like with the red leather jacket, and I think it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I like
it's
that.
Obviously the Ultimates. You can tell just by the art. It's an Ultimate Wonder Man style. But yeah, I think even in Wonder Man strats, this is the worst costume for him, with his little jetpacks on the back. The V that connects with the red and makes the W. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this.
I'm surprised, Gabe, not to move off of Wonder Man, but I'm surprised that in this list they didn't mention the 90s redesign of Iron Man.
Oh,
that's a bad looking suit
from Heroes Reborn.
Yeah, where he's got like the exhaust pipes on his back.
Yeah, this one here. Yeah, this here. This costume would be a lot cooler without the exhaust pipes on the back.
Yeah, because like it works as a costume, but the pipes just look so weird.
Yeah. Is this the book Jim Lee worked on? Oh no, he worked on Fantastic Four, I think, right?
Yeah, Scott Lobdell worked on this.
Ah, okay. That's who it was. Yeah, like, okay, here you can't really see the back piece, and it looks fine. I think another goofy part, like, is, like, he's wearing, like, knee-high, like, stiletto boots.
Yeah, very strange.
Maybe that could change. Maybe connect it to the red. I think it'd look cool.
Yeah.
Or just don't have the boots go up so high, and just have him do, like, the kneecap, 90s image kneecap boots, you know what I mean? that they love to do. I mean, they put him on Thor, so why not put him on Iron Man? Like, if you got rid of this thigh part here and just kept the boots at the knee, I think that would look fine too. Yeah, I mean, my favorite Iron Man costume is the Ultimate one. That's always been my favorite one. It's not talked about a lot, but it's my favorite. We kind of got it in the movies, but I don't know what it was, but I think because this costume was so different, I fucking loved this one growing up. I don't know what it was about it. I just loved it so much. Like, even to this day, I don't really know what I liked about it. I just, it did good things to my eyes. Like, I see it, I'm just like, ah. And I think it's because I grew up with it. Like, going to the comic book shops with my dad, this is what was on the shelf, because it was Ultimates that time period.
I was gonna say, because I look at that suit and I'm like,
And I think it's more like nostalgia glasses for me, that when I see it, I'm just like, ah, yeah, like my childhood, you know? It's funny because Ultimate War Machine, I think, was just the same costume, just in black. Actually, no, his was completely different. Oh wait, yeah, his was like a Hulkbuster costume. That looks cool, compared to Iron Man. But I don't know. Maybe it's just my eyes. Growing up, I was in love with this costume. Like I said, we kind of got it in the movies. This is the one they gave us in the movie, and I was like, what? We got it. When he showed up in Spider-Man with it. And that was like his temporary suit, or like his robot suit. But I was like, oh man, I was so happy to see it in live action when it showed up. It's not perfect, but it was still cool. But yeah, that's the top 15 worst costumes of all time presented to us by Comic Book Resource. How did you feel about that, Ajax? Do you think that list was warranted?
I'd say that list is about 50-50.
Yeah, I think there was some good, there was some bad. I think maybe there was only one or two of all-timers on there. I would love to see a current one, though, of like current eyes, to see like if there's costumes maybe in the past couple years that we don't know about that kind of slip through the cracks. Because there has to be. There has to be some costumes that we don't know about in the recent years. Because I buy like what's out right now, but like there's a time frame from like the early 2010s to like about 2020 that like I didn't pick up a lot, if at all, you know, because I wasn't completely. I had like a foot in with comics at the time before diving head first back into it. But so there has to be some things in there that slip through the cracks.
Yeah, I only started reading in 2018.
Yeah, so yeah, there has to be something
That's when
there.
I jumped on.
But Ajax, this is going to be an interesting issue today, because now we have not one, but we have two things we are covering from Wizard this month, buddy. So Wizard, because there was two things in it, and I love, because I also wanted to include them both because they were actually very similar in concept. So Wizard, and I think this is great because in 2024 right now, I'm looking at the landscape of superhero movies. Usually we have like a new movie a month when it comes to superhero movies.
Usually.
Dude, this year we got like Deadpool, and like that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's all we got. So I want to take a look at Wizards from...
Actually, Gabe, how could you forget? We're getting Kraven the Hunter in October.
Oh, how could I forget? Oh, we just had Madam Web. How could I forget?
How could you forget that?
The Fox resurgence is happening.
I'm 100% going to go see Kraven the Hunter, not because I know it's going to be good, but just like how I saw Madam Web, I know it's going to be bad, I want to go see it.
I wanted to see Madam Web in theaters because of how bad it was. And even my brother was like, just wait till streaming. Like, just don't even spend the money. He like stopped me from going to the movie theater. He was like, just don't even feed into it. Just wait. Oh man. But I saw this. They had a thing where I'm looking at the time period of this. We're going to be looking at Wizard number 103 from April of the year 2000. And at this time there wasn't a lot of superhero movies. This was right before the Fox boom of stuff. I think at the time we had Blade, which was 99, if I'm correct. Was Blade 99?
Blade was 98.
98. Okay,
the first Blade movie was 98.
And then 2000 came X-Men, if I'm correct. Or was that 2000?
The first X-Men movie.
Yes, and then 2001 was Spider-Man. I'm trying to get all my time frames put together. So this is before X-Men. This is actually how long until X-Men? This is April. X-Men dropped on July, so a couple months later. So this is what they were planning for. They wanted to come up with some. They call it Dream Theater. It's some movies they wanted to have come out, seeing as X-Men's coming out soon. So this is the first one. This is what they would cast for a Spider-Man movie. So what they wanted to have, it would be Wes Bentley, as you know from oh god, what's Wes Bentley from? I think he's in Hunger Games. What else is he in? I'm looking him up now to get kind of his filmography here. Not Stranger Things. American Horror Story. He's in American Horror Story. You guys may also know him as the bad guy from Ghost Rider. So he did end up in superhero movies later on. But they wanted him to play Peter Parker, actually.
Oh, wow.
They also wanted to have Nikki Cox play Mary Jane Watson, which I think would have been a good casting based on who Mary Jane Watson was in the books. You know, a beautiful model and all that. Nikki Cox currently looks nothing like how she looked back in the year 2000. But she was in things like Terminator, and that's really all of note. She wasn't in a lot. I mean, she was in Glimmer Man with what's his face?
Steven Seagal.
With Steven Seagal, yeah. As you see here, so yeah, they wanted her to play Mary Jane Watson. How did she look in the 90s? Let me see. Nikki Cox, 90s. How did she look back in the day? I would have bought that as Mary Jane Watson. 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. This 1,000,000% would have been Mary Jane. And then they also wanted.
She looked pretty good.
Yeah. And then who they had casted to play Eddie Brock, aka Venom, was Howie Long. They wanted Howie Long to play Eddie Brock.
I'm very familiar with Howie Long.
Yes. So, and it's cool. If you guys want to look at this Wizard 103, sadly, there's no scans of it online. I had to do my own scans so I could send them here to Ajax so he can look at them. But they discuss not only the characters, they discuss the actors playing them. They also discuss who would be working on it as a creative team, the entire pitch for it, and what will happen directly in the movie, including things like screenwriters working on it and things like that. They go in depth. So the creative team that they wanted for the Spider-Man movie was, they said, if we learned anything from The Matrix, it's that the Wachowski brothers, they would want them to work.
Wachowski sisters, yeah.
They would want them to work on this movie.
Wow, that would have been interesting.
That would have been very interesting. The next one is one that's near and dear to my heart, man. And it's a movie that I don't think we'll ever get in live action because it is so intricate. There's a lot of technology involved. Don't know if it would translate well. It would have to be like an animated movie like Into Spider-Verse, which, spoiler alert, this might spoil what the movie is, something we almost got because they wanted to cast a Batman Beyond movie.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you saw, did you see that footage that went out of the pitch for DC of a Batman Beyond movie?
Where it kind of looked like Spider-Verse.
It's the Spider-Verse team. Like DC said it won't work, so they went to Marvel and pitched Into the Spider-Verse, and it ended up being a fucking $1 billion movie. DC really missed the boat on that.
DC. Yes, it explains a lot about DC.
But it's great, man. They wanted Charlton Heston to play Bruce Wayne, which I think would have been very interesting. This is funny to look at, knowing X-Men was coming out. They wanted James Marsden to play Terry McGinnis. Which
that is very interesting.
90s James Marsden looks like, I almost said Nigel McGuinness. Looks like Terry McGinnis. And if you look at the scan I sent you here, Ajax, they actually provide a great picture of James Marsden looking just like Terry McGinnis. And then they also wanted John O'Hurley to play Derek Powers, a.k.a. Blight, as the villain in the movie. So the creative team they wanted with this, they said, we'd hate to see this done without Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, and Alan Burnett, the head honchos, the people who were in charge of the animated series, as writers and consultants. So they would want them writing the movie. To direct, who better to create this futuristic Batworld than Ridley Scott?
Oh.
And I think
Yeah.
that's a very interesting take on that. I think that'd be really cool, and it makes sense seeing as Ridley Scott worked on things like Blade Runner and stuff. I think that would have been really cool. They also wanted to cast. You can't have Batman. I mean, it's not Bruce, but you can't have Batman without Superman. Also, look at this scan, dude. A phenomenal giant Ed McGuinness Superman flying right at you.
Love it.
They wanted Brendan Fraser to play Superman. And let me tell you, 90s Brendan Fraser, for people that don't know, even into the 2000s, when I was growing up, Brendan Fraser was the fucking man. He was he was the guy. And let me tell you,
in the late 90s, early 2000s, like he was a legit like leading man.
In the year 2000 or 2001, Brendan Fraser as Superman, 1, wouldn't be out of the ordinary, and 2, I would have liked that a lot.
I think he would have had to put on some muscle, but I think he could have done it.
Oh yeah. Or you do the 2000s thing, you put him in a muscle suit.
Oh yeah, fuck.
The next one's funny because it came to life. Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, which actually happened in Superman Returns. So this one actually came to life.
Oh yeah. That's
Kevin
true.
Spacey is now canceled.
Yeah,
for
Kevin
being a
Spacey
creep.
no longer working.
Kevin
in
Spacey,
movies.
piece of garbage.
Yeah.
And to play Lois Lane, they wanted Kim Delaney to play Lois Lane, who... Let me look at Kim Delaney in the 90s. From this image, she looks like she'd be a good Lois. Let me see, 90s. Kim Delaney. I would have bought this as Lois Lane. Definitely.
I think she fits the bill.
I would have definitely bought this as Lois Lane. Her and Brendan Fraser, I think, would look like a great Lois and Clark. So...
Oh, she was in NYPD Blue. Okay.
Yeah.
She was in Tales from the Crypt. Oh, wow.
She still kind of looked the same.
She does, yeah.
She don't look too different.
Yeah.
Nice. Wait, no, not like that. Not like that. Like, good for her. Well, you know. No, oh, she's in Darkman 2. Has she done any comic stuff? Just out of curiosity, I don't see anything here. I like to see like if they ended up doing anything comic related. I mean, Tales from the Crypt,
Well,
I guess.
I was gonna say Tales from the Crypt, technically.
Yeah, that counts. That counts. I'll count it. I'll let it slide. The next one is a movie that I think is very interesting. There's actually 2 on one page. So they wanted to cast a Kingdom Come movie. I was like, whoa. Kingdom Come animated movie. So remember, this is animated, so we're going off of voices here. To play Superman, they wanted Harrison Ford, which as a Kingdom Come Superman, I think is a great casting. He has like that gritty voice of what Kingdom Come Superman was. Especially because I just read Kingdom Come like a month or 2 ago. He'd be great. Sigourney Weaver as Wonder Woman. Could buy that.
Man, I would love Sigourney Weaver. I would have loved 90s Sigourney Weaver as Wonder Woman, like in a live action movie.
Yeah,
I would've done
literally.
that.
And as Batman, Michael Keaton, of course.
Oh,
Doing
of
the
course.
voice of Batman. How else would you do that? Oh, I didn't look at the creative team. Sorry. I didn't look at the creative team for Superman. Really quick. Superman, the creative team would be the King of Action film, Jerry Bruckheimer, who worked on Armageddon and The Rock, would be the producer for Superman.
Sure.
And for the animated movie, they say creative team, look out, Japan. America's making big strides in animation. We take advantage of the deep canvas work from Disney's Tarzan with the character designs and action value of the Iron Giant. That's a very interesting combination. Iron Giant animation for a DC animated movie would be very cool.
One of my favorite childhood movies, Iron Giant. Watched that one a lot growing up.
Great movie. The next one they wanted to cast her is the Incredible Hulk. This is a live action. Playing Bruce Banner, they wanted Johnny Depp. A 90s Johnny Depp, early 2000s Johnny Depp playing Bruce Banner. I could see that. I mean, especially with his star rising at the time, I could see that happening. I also want to say all their castings so far have not been bad. I think at the time, they would have been great castings because, of course, this is in that time. So, like, they're casting based off of who's popular, and I could definitely see all these happening if they were to,
But
like, green like these.
Is Johnny Depp so much of a big actor where, like, it would be hard to believe him to play, like, a subdued, like, Bruce Banner?
I
Like,
think
would
this
it take
is...
away from him playing Bruce?
I think this is, like, a Jessica Alba situation where they would be casting someone for their name. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you're watching this to see a Johnny Depp movie, like, see how he plays a Bruce Banner. Like, oh, how does Johnny Depp play a smart guy? You know? Which I think could take away from it because it's Johnny Depp. But, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he could have done it. I don't know. I'd never seen him play a character like Bruce Banner, and he could play many different characters. As you know, Johnny Depp is a big character person, so I don't know. Maybe he could have done it. I'm not too sure. That's one that's kind of up in the air. They said creative team, a chase movie at heart. This one's a natural for Andrew Davis to direct. And then that's actually the last one. That's the last one that they worked on. So those are the movies that they would have liked to see. What's funny here is that of all of these, 1, 2, 3 of these. Oh wait, no, 1, 2, yeah, 3. 3 of these 5 movies that they put together would actually eventually end up being movies within the next 5 years. And that includes Spider-Man,
right.
Incredible Hulk, and Superman. Those would all become movies. Obviously, James Marsden went on to work in X-Men. Kevin Spacey, like we said, worked in Superman. And actually, Brendan Fraser went on to work in DC more recently.
Yes, he was in Doom Patrol.
He was in Doom Patrol, and he did fucking great in
And
Doom
he
Patrol.
was very good in it.
So, yeah, so a lot of these people actually eventually ended up going on to work on other movies. So, going off of that, they did their casting call that they usually do. And this is kind of playing off of their Superman casting that they did. So, they wanted to cast a movie for the JLA. So, this is who they would want in their JLA movie. They would want David James Elliott playing Batman. What is David James Elliott in? I have definitely heard that name before. David James Elliott. He's Canadian. Why does he look so familiar? I don't know. I haven't seen any of this stuff, so I don't know. Maybe he just has a face that looks familiar. Well, either way, they wanted him.
He was in Mad Men.
Oh, I never saw Mad Men. Don't
That's a
cut my
great
head
show.
off.
No, that's a great
all
show.
I hear about is that it's so
Oh, he was
good.
in Heels. Look at that. He was in Heels.
Wait, who the fuck was he in Heels? I watched Heels. Wait, is he the commentator in Heels? He is the commentator in Heels! What? Oh, no, wait. Oh, he plays Stephen Amell's dad. The other main character. He plays the dad. I did not recognize him with the mustache. Oh, man, he
Look
would
at
have been Dude, he'd be a great Batman. I take that back. Dude, he was so good in Heels.
Was he?
Yeah, he would be a great Batman. Man, he'd be a great, like, Batman Beyond Batman, like a... Oh, no, not Batman Beyond. He'd be a great, like, Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns Batman. Like, that gritty, dark Batman. He would still be a good one. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good casting. They kept Brendan Fraser as Superman from the previous one. Arnold Vosloo as Martian Manhunter. Who is Arnold Vosloo? He was in The Mummy. Oh, he's the bad dude from The Mummy.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know who Arnold Vosloo is. Yeah.
They would want him as John Jones. Okay. I could see that. They wanted Dolph Lundgren to play Aquaman. Which would have been
funny how that works because he was in an Aquaman movie.
Wait, he was? Oh, he was. Yeah, he was.
In the first Jason Momoa movie, yeah.
And the second. He's in the second one, too.
Oh, he's in the second? I haven't seen the second.
I just watched it recently. Eric Close to play Green Lantern, which is Kyle Rayner, my favorite Green Lantern. Eric Close. Is that the dude? I was going to say, isn't it the dude from Suits? It is the dude from Suits. So yeah, they wanted this guy to play Kyle Rayner. I think that would be yeah. I mean, he looks enough like him to be Kyle Rayner. Especially back in the 90s. Look at him in the like 90s, 2000s. Oh yeah, he looks like Kyle Rayner.
That's him in Hercules.
Yeah, he looks like Kyle Rayner back in the day, so I could see that casting 100%. They wanted Matthew McConaughey to play the Flash. All right.
No, I can't see that.
He'd be like, all right. Because get it? Because he's fast. And they wanted Carrie Ann Moss to play Wonder Woman.
I like
from
Carrie
The
Ann
Matrix.
Moss. Yeah, I like her.
I'd be okay with that. And then the last page here of casting is they would want Jim Carrey to play Plastic Man. Abso-fucking-lutely yes. Back in the
Yeah.
day, that would have been just spot on casting to have him play Plastic Man. To play Ra's al Ghul, John Malkovich to play Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, that makes sense too. I could
Yeah,
see that.
that makes a lot of sense. Ron Eldard as Prometheus. Ron Eldard to play Prometheus. I don't think this guy also has a face that looks familiar. No, I've never seen any of these. Well, either way, they wanted him to play Prometheus. They wanted Edward Norton to play the Atom, who, funnily enough, would go on to play the Incredible Hulk.
He sure did.
So he ended up in superhero things later on, but I think him as the Atom would have been pretty good casting. And they wanted Billy Zane to play Lex Luthor. And the last one, they wanted Jason Lee to play the Joker. And Jason Lee in the 90s and 2000s definitely had a Joker-looking vibe to him. For people who don't know Jason Lee, he plays Brody in Mallrats. He's in My Name is Earl. He's in Alvin and the Chipmunks. I think Jason Lee in the 90s definitely could have pulled off a Joker. He had like a really
Maybe.
this is the exact picture they use in this book.
It feels
think-
hard to picture him as Joker.
Also, never knew Jason Lee was a skateboarder.
Didn't know that either.
Wait, he was a sponsored skateboarder? Why don't I know this?
Holy shit.
Why don't I know this? What the fuck? That's kind of cool. But yeah, I think maybe if you had him as Plastic Man and Jim Carrey as Joker, I think that'd be a good swap. Because I think if you look at him smiling, throw some sunglasses on him, I think he could look like Plastic Man. And I think Jim Carrey as Joker would be, if I had to swap any of these, that would be my swap.
Right. But Jim Carrey as Plastic Man is perfect casting.
Yeah, that's already perfect enough. But I think if I had to choose for a better Joker, that'd be that. But I think of these castings, not too bad. I would watch this movie. I'd watch this JLA movie. I think usually when it's funny because when you look at these casting calls and stuff for these Wizard magazines, it's either like really good or really bad. Like there's no in between. Or there's maybe like one or two where it's like, okay, that's okay casting. This is also the first one where they don't have a professional wrestler cast as someone.
That is true.
That is the
Yeah,
first
I didn't
one.
think about that.
By the way, they are advertising in this Wizard magazine Scream 3, the album, which includes Creed and Godsmack and Orgy.
And Power Man 5000.
Power Man 5000, Seven Dust, Static X, System of a Down. Dude, okay, I just gotta list off all these names. Scream 3, the tracks, Creed, Godsmack, Orgy, Power Man 5000, Seven Dust, Fuel, System of a Down, Static X, Slipknot, Finger 11, Cold Chamber, Full Devil Jacket, Incubus, American Pearl, and Dope. What an album, dude. You'll never find an
that's a
album
lot
like
of
that
big-
ever again.
That's a lot of big name bands.
You'll never find an album like that ever again. And this is a great magazine, man. They're covering... 103 is a great one to pick up because they're covering all the hype for X-Men. They just threw in a picture of fucking Rogue in a bikini for no reason. Gotta love Wizard
Of
magazine.
course.
And they had to include the cheeks in there. They had to get that cut in there so you could see it. But they cover a lot of good articles in this one. They're hyping up the Clerks animated show coming out soon. They're talking about the new She book coming out. This is a great one to flip through. I'm very upset that this doesn't have any scans online for people to check out on their phones and stuff. And I don't want to like scan mine because I don't want to ruin my book. Cause a lot of like the scans, you gotta like tear your book apart to like get them scanned properly, and I don't want to do that with some of my wizards. Cause I cherish these. These are more for just like a personal collection. But yeah, no, there's some good stuff in this month's issue. Definitely check it out if you guys can get your hands on it. I think it's like a $3 book on eBay if you guys really want these wizards. Next month we'll be looking at one for May. Don't know which one yet. Look forward to that. But Ajax, on our one shot here, we are going to be discussing the second book, A Saga of a Doom Universe, and this is when shit starts hitting the fan. If the first book left you with questions, this will start to answer some of them. but it'll also leave you with some more questions as you go into issue 3. This one, I think, will make a lot more sense connecting the dots from issue 1. So look out for that on our one-shot. Ajax, if it's good with you, it's good with me. We're going to sign off here on this issue. Anything you want to say to the people before we head out?
No. Not at all.
Sick.
Brought this shit up.
You guys take care. We'll see you on the one-shot.